Today, we're going to talk about panel line scribing. Hey guys, Not So Average Builder here, and I have something technical and exciting for everyone. So, I'll use this piece as an example. This is the IBO Astaroth back leg thrusters. If you look at it, it's very, very bland. Not a whole lot of detail on it. And a lot of this kit, because it's a high grade kit, is going to be like that. Well, I'm going to show you how to take it from this to this. So it's not much, but it gives it extra detail, and it'll kind of be a conversation piece, I guess. So you can kind of see the comparison between the two, what all I added on there. Oop, if I don't drop it. But you see, I kind of mirrored it on both sides, but it's small things that are going to make this kit look a lot better and more detailed. Even though it is a high-grade kit, it's going to look a lot better. So I'll show you the things that you need, and there will be a link in the description below on what those things are and where you can buy them. So let me go over what we've got. So we have, most importantly, the Tamiya scriber. You don't have to use the Tamiya scriber. That is just what I had. I did have a scribing pick that I picked up many years ago. I don't know whether it's just something I'm not used to or what, but it just doesn't seem to want to work as very well. It is a kind of a sharper tip, but it is nowhere near as sharp as the Tamiya panel scriber. The downside with the panel scriber being so sharp is it is very, 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 very easy to make mistakes. And second most importantly, you will need, this is Dymo label tape. It's the embossed stuff that actually uses pressure. It's basically plastic with a backing that would show up white when something was pressed through it. But this is going to be very important as well. You'll need your hobby knife to kind of cut this stuff, whatnot. You need your sanding sticks, and to do the little holes, which I did, or the little divots right there. Zoom in here. No. You'll need a pin vise. This thing is just going to make things a lot easier to do those holes. I'm sure you could do them with a hobby knife, but this is going to make it a lot easier. So let me get this piece situated, and we'll go from there. Oh, I'm just kidding. There are a few other things you need. You will need a lead pencil. Doesn't have to be mechanical, it can be just regular lead pencil. And I use traditional masking tape to get my straight lines, because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. So yeah, that's all we need, and we'll get this thing set up. Alright, so now we're set up where we need to be, and we need to make this piece look like this piece. And we're just going to kind of lay this down here. You really can't see it, but I can. I'm going to kind of mimic. And the first line we're going to make is this little transition right here. So I'm going to take my tape. I just tore off a piece. Make sure you've got your straight edge. And you'll line up where you want it to be. Make sure it mimics this. Yes. So you'll just line it up. You'll take your pencil. And again, this is just for myself, because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Especially not using lead pencil. I don't know if you can see it or not, but my line is there. Set my tape down. Now, this is where the Dymo tape comes in handy. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a little piece bigger than your part that you're working on. And I like to go ahead and cut mine in half and make sure it's a crooked angle, and I'll explain why. Because nothing sucks worse than grabbing your seemingly straight edge that isn't a straight edge at all, and then you mess up your part. So always cut one end kind of loopy, just to make things easier on you, so you know which side is which. Safety first. Now, well, safety first, and I need that knife anyway. Oh well. So the Dymo tape backing is kind of a pain to get off. So what I recommend doing is getting your knife and starting it, There you go. Peeling it the rest of the way off, putting it in a pile. So we're going to take our straight edge. If I grab the right piece, you want to put it just to the left of where you're wanting to, or left or right, doesn't matter which one, to be quite honest, as long as it's not touching the edge. You'll take your Tamiya scriber or whatever scribing tool you're using. And what I do, I recommend to just barely drag it. No pressure at all whatsoever. Do about 3 or 4 passes. Flip it over. Do 3 or 4 more passes. And see, I messed up on this one as well. I went outside the lines. Now remember with this, the more scribes you do, the deeper the line is going to be. So on the other thruster housing, whatever you want to call it, I just kind of did 4 or 5 passes on each side. Alright, so now that's done, you can kind of see your finished scribe mark. And it's a little rough, but there's an easy fix for that. You take your fine sanding stick and you just kind of go over it, because there's going to be raised edges and stuff like that that you're not going to be able to see that the scriber actually created. You don't want to do too much. Then you're going to take your extra fine, and again there's links in the description below for the sanding sticks that I used or any of the products that I use, so that way you don't have to go searching the web for them. So now, if you don't have this already, you can just use really thin down acrylic paint. I'm just using this because I have it on hand. You just touch it in there. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of tell you how deep your line is, because it's kind of hard to see, but that's okay. I have a Q-tip. See, my line's not very deep. So when you're doing it without the aid of the, see, apparently I can't do it without the tape. Try and get this line back up. So I guess I would recommend to you, if you're going to do scribing, practice on a piece of plow plate or something along those lines, to kind of gauge thicknesses so you don't mess up like I do. Much better. Much better. Alright. So, let's see if I got it this time. Much better. Now there's still some issues. You can see little striations where I screwed up. But that is okay. I'll sand that down because it's not very deep. If I'd have done it deep, I would have needed something like Tamiya putty or something to fill in those gaps. I would have basically had to fill in the whole area because it was so close and redo the whole thing. So it's not that big a deal. Now, as far as getting the circles go, well, it's my base piece. So we'll do this one up here in the corner. So basically, what I did was I tilted my point, because you never want to put it straight down because you can't really see. Brought my piece up and just kind of twist. Now I've got the smallest bit that my kit came with for this. You can use whatever size bit you want, but I opted for the small one because of the size of the part that I'm working on. You just want to keep going 4 or 5 turns at a time. Wipe out the excess. That hole's not big enough for my taste. Do 5 more. Now we're getting there. You can kind of see what we're looking at. Just in case you can't, let's get a little blob of that. We'll take, and there you go. You've got yourself like a little rivet indentation. So I'll go off and do the rest of this, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And I have a piece of blank plate or plastic sheeting or polystyrene, not polystyrene, just styrene, carding that I'm going to use for adding extra raised details and stuff like that. So we may practice on that. I'm not sure. It seems kind of thick though for what I want to do. So yeah, let me go off and do the rest of this and we'll talk about it. One main thing that I forgot to mention when using this thing, don't start and stop in the middle. I mean, you can start in the middle, but try and go to the farthest edge away without going over, and don't stop right before, otherwise you're going to get a weird look. So make sure that when you do this, put your blade up against the Dymo tape. Well, don't drag it on the Dymo tape, and go past what you are working on. It's kind of like spray painting, only you're not spray painting, you're scratching a line that you want to be there into the plastic. So let's switch. Same thing with this side. And that will give you a clean edge that will go all the way across. Guess we'll see. Okay, no, it didn't move. It started to, but we saved it. So yeah. And now we have a way to start our next line. So we're going to continue this edge right here. Line it up. This one's a short line, so it's kind of tricky. But always run off your previous edge. But what I've learned by doing this is that you let the weight of the blade do all the work. Don't add any extra pressure, because if you do, you're going to gouge too much, or you're going to mess up, and it's going to shoot off there, and you're going to be upset. And now we've got one seamless line. The lines all match up, and that was all 3 separate lines. It was very, very easy to do. It just takes some practice, and don't overthink things. That's the big thing. I tend to do that a lot. At least I hope you can. Now, the benefits of doing this crossways line first is that when I start, I can actually put the tip of the blade in the little notch that I've created. And then you can drag it off. Pop this off of there. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect. Now we have extra pits cut into our leg thruster, and that makes things a lot more cool. Now I can go off and go do the rest of this, and we'll see what it looks like on the kit. Alright, so as you can see, both are done. Both are on there, and they make the thrusters look way better. It's a time-consuming process. I was gonna say it's easy. It is easy, but it just takes some getting used to. I guess it's kind of like riding a bike. It's learning how I'm not going to forget how to do this once I've done it. But you can kind of see just overall, and like they're really stark because I used the black. That's not what I'm going to end up with. This is going to be a fully painted kit. I just wanted to kind of make them stand out on camera so that you could see them. But I really like the look of those little divots or whatever you call them on these kits. It just kind of makes it look more rough and ready, I guess you'd say. I don't know what the terminology is, but I really like this. Again, all I used was the Tamiya Scriber 2. I used the pin vise to create the little divots, and then I used the Dymo label tape. Those are, and I found a 3-pack of this for like $3, so this is not expensive at all. To get this and the Scriber, I think was like maybe $18, and this was, no, I'm sorry, it was $5. It was $5 for this, and it was $10 for this. So with shipping and everything, it was $18, but that's really not that bad. And then of course you've got your hobby knife and your pencil, which again, you don't have to use a mechanical pencil. That's just what I had on hand. And then of course, some people say a ruler or something, but I use this to draw my straight lines, and you don't even necessarily need this if you can draw a pretty straight line on your own. I find it very difficult on these convex and complex surfaces. It just made it kind of difficult. So like on this leg, don't mean to jump, I kind of messed around and did some more here. I did some on this leg. This didn't turn out as well. I also did the divots on this. I'm not too happy with this. I'm not too awfully worried about it though, because this is kind of just a, throw together kit and test things out on. And so far I kind of like it. I did the panel line here and a little divot, and you can see on the other side, it's very plain. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be there now. So now that we've done this, it does make the overall kit, and this is just the bottom half obviously, the overall kit look a whole lot better. And it's just simple things you can do. And again, I will have a link in the description below for this, and I will have one for the pin vise. These are things that you will need in your model making arsenal if you're going to do more advanced techniques such as panel line scribing, but you'll use them for years. So that is all I have for today. Oh, I'm just kidding. I have one thing, and I'm super excited to bring it up. I have my first Patreon. It's my sister. That's okay. Every Patreon helps. Again, I do have the Patreon link down below. It is patreon.com/notsoaveragebuilder. But today, I would like to shout out Megan Berry. Granted, yes, she is my sister, but again, she does count. So I'm super excited. I have my first Patreon. It's wonderful. And the more Patreons that I get, I will do Patreon only or Patreon exclusive access or early access releases of videos or techniques or anything along those lines. And I do have reward tiers, and those, if you go to that link, you can kind of see what they are. What else am I missing? What else? Oh, I think that my next project is going to be starting on the perfect grade. I kind of want to get better at panel line scribing, and the reason why I even started it with this kit was because I'm not too awfully worried about this kit. It's not a very expensive kit. But the downfall of the perfect grade that I picked up is it doesn't have a whole lot of detail in the panels. There's no panel separation. And I want to use this thing and this to give it a whole bunch more detail, to make it stand out that much more, because it will be for sale. So one of my lucky viewers will be able to take it home and display it on their shelves. But I think that is actually all I've got for today. I'm going to kind of mess around with the panel line scribing, and I will post up a picture of the finished result. It may be in a couple of days. We had kind of a snow day today, so I was able to spend time with the family, so I'm not going to do a long video today. But yeah, that is all I've got. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Don't forget, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Remember, I have my 300 subscriber giveaway, can't talk today, where I will give away the entire Dragon Ball Mecha collection to one of my lucky subscribers. So make sure you get in on that so you can potentially win 8 awesome kits, 7 main kits and 1 extra kit. But that is all. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.